Alright, it is March 20th, 2016. What I'm going to do is go over what comes in the box and a little bit about programming on the Baofeng UV-5R Plus. I don't know a whole lot about this stuff myself, but I have learned a little bit on how to program using the CHIRP software, and I can show you what to expect when you order one. So once again, my desktop view, get my keyboard slid out of the way. This is the box, what comes in it, your simple manual. As I was explaining earlier, the manual's not really good. It's not a valuable resource of information. There's plenty YouTube videos that will go into much better detail than what I'm going to show you on any of it today. So just trying to give you a little bit of an idea. Here's the radio unit right here. It's a little bitty handheld walkie-talkie. It does have a belt clip that comes with it, but you have to actually unscrew these screws, put the belt clip on, and screw them back in. And you can get the battery out. The battery, you just push on that and slide it. You can get that battery out with the belt clip on there. So, but it is optional whether or not you want to put it on there. I would say yeah. Most cases I would say yeah. So anyway, what comes underneath of that, you have your antenna that comes with it. Just a typical little rubber flexible antenna. There are better ones that you can buy, which will make a huge difference in the transmission and reception of any radio if you put a better antenna on it. So that's it with the antenna. Also, what comes in the package, this is a little headset. I've never used one of them. I've got one in both the radios I have. I've never used it, never really messed with it, but it's a little headset. It does have a microphone and an earpiece, and it does have a little button. I'm trying to find it here. There it is, a little button that you can push to talk. So I don't know how well this works really. It is kind of cheesy, to be honest, but it comes with it. You have a little strap, and on my other one, which Jen has with her, I do have this strap on it because it is a nice handy way to carry it as well. So here's your charger, or your charger stand I should say, and your AC adapter that plugs into the back of the charger stand. And when you use these stands, you kind of have to be careful, because if you just set it into the front like that, it's not going to be charging. There's a couple little slots along sides of the battery here, and there's a couple little tabs there, and you have to make sure that those tabs are in the slots, and then that unit will charge. The good thing about that is I could take that out like that, where the battery's not in the radio, and I could still charge the battery. So it's not a bad idea to buy a backup battery, but it's good to know that you can put the battery in by itself without it even being connected to the radio. So that's the unit. Now, the first thing that I would recommend anybody to do with anything like this when they get it is to refresh it to default settings. Just for whatever reason, I would refresh it to default settings. Now, this device, if you buy it in the US, when you turn it on, it will tell you either frequency mode or channel mode. And if you buy it in this country, chances are pretty high it will tell you that in the English language. However, when I reset this device, that will not be the case. So I'm going to turn the unit on.
Frequency mode.
Okay, and if I go to the menu, if I click the menu button and I go to the last menu option, that option will be reset.
Menu.
Okay, now it says reset all, and I'm going to click the menu button. I'm going to click it again. I'm going to click it again. Yeah, not quite so much English, huh? So I can just click the menu button, and I'm going to arrow up to the option to where I can change the language.
菜单设置
Oh, yeah. Voice. It says CHI for Chinese. I'm going to hit the menu button. I'm going to arrow down to English. I'm going to hit the menu button again. And now I'm going to exit the menu. So this radio has been totally set to default settings. There is absolutely nothing in here that is not factory, except changing the language back to English. So, yes, it is me. This is one of the other items that was sent because I did not have one with my other radio. And I know there's a glare. It's the programming cable for it. And these don't come with the unit. You have to buy these separate, but they're only like $7. So what you get in there is the programming cable and a useless CD. Okay, this thing is not worth its weight in plastic. I couldn't even get it to work. I mean, I got it to read and everything, but it did not. It's supposed to be drivers for this radio. Yeah, didn't work so much. So what I'm going to do is, the link will be down in the description of this. I have uploaded some files for the Baofeng radio for the UV-5R Plus specifically. I need to make a point of that. That is for this radio specifically, the files that I will upload to the website. The link will be in the description tab after I get this video up. Here is the programming cable. They're just a cheap little cable, but you don't need nothing too exciting. Now, when I plug this in, I'm actually probably going to have to go back behind my computer real quick and unplug and plug in my USB cable. And the reason why is because it's got a repeater built in. This thing's a 30-foot cable. So it's got a repeater built in, and for some reason it won't pick up the circuitry in here unless I plug this in and then go unplug and plug back in the USB cable. See, you don't hear no bing bing. That's by the way what you guys were hearing earlier today, by the way. That was me trying to get this to work with this cable. So let me go unplug that and plug it back in. Alright, I didn't hear it. Hopefully it did it. For whatever reason, I did not hear it though. Let me take a look. Let's go to the desktop view of the computer here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up my control panel, hardware and sound, and my device manager. Now in here, what I'm going to be looking at is the ports, and it did read. There is a file that will be in that folder, by the way, that'll be up on the website, to get this prolific USB to serial COM driver. Okay, that is working with this cable. So, what you do is you want to turn the radio off. You'll have to put that driver in. What I did is I plugged the radio in. I plugged, the USB cable, plugged the radio in, installed that driver, and then what it has you do is unplug the cable and plug it back in. Now, it's important that you find, let me go back to the other view, you need to go to your device manager so that way you can see which COM port that this is on. That's going to come into play in just a minute here. So I can just remember it's COM5. Go back to the other view here. Now what I'm going to do is on the side here, you'll have a little flap. This is where you'd plug in your headset at. You also plug in your programming cable into that same slot. Well, 2 slots technically. Now the radio is plugged in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the radio. We won't hear it this time because we're using the headphone jack. It's connected to the computer. Now what I'm going to do, let me go back to my desktop view here. I'm going to open the CHIRP software. And there we go. CHIRP in all its glory. Not really, but you know. So what I'm going to do, as you notice, there's absolutely nothing on there. First of all, we got to get the radio talking to the computer. So to do that, we click on the radio. We click download from radio. Okay, and it's going to ask you what COM it's on, what port it's on. Well, remember it was 5. So we choose COM5. Now it's going to choose your vendor. You have to choose your vendor of radio. It's a Baofeng, or however you pronounce it. And you have to choose the model. Well, we have a UV-5R Plus. So it's technically a UV-5R in that series. So that's what you choose. And then you click OK. It's going to pop up a box saying this radio's driver is experimental. Do you want to proceed? Yeah, I like to live life dangerously. Now, it's going to tell you to turn the radio off. Connect the mic to the speaker connector, which we've already done. Make sure the connector is firmly connected. Turn the radio on, which we did. Volume may need to be set at 100%, which is. Ensure that the radio is tuned to the channel with no activity. Well, this is stock, so hopefully, you know, the stock settings, so hopefully there wouldn't be any activity on it. Click OK to download image from device. So I'm going to click OK, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this other view here, because I'm going to show you when I click OK, I want to show you what this the transmit light does. Okay, so I'm clicking OK now, and you see it's communicating with the computer. Now on the desktop view, this is what you see. You get a little screen up that says cloning. It shows you the process of the cloning. Waiting for that to get done. There we go. Now that is what's programmed on the radio right now, which is a whole bunch of nothing, other than in channel 0, which I don't get because you don't even have channel 0. So I don't understand why that's there, but whatever, let's go with it. Now you can go under your radio button again, and I told you this is going to be quick and simple. Okay, this is I'm not teaching you anything real super advanced here. You can go in and manually edit any of these and put in whatever you need, along with your tone modes. Your oh, you have the channel name. Oh, cool! I didn't see that before. I think that will automatically enter in though. Your tone mode, your tone squelch, your DTCS code, your DTCS transmit code, your DTCS and polarity and cross mode and duplex, and I can widen the screen up. We got a bunch of other little things in there too. You've got your offset, your mode, your power, and your skip. Okay? Fun, huh? Now this is not a tri-power unit. This is only a single power. It puts out 4 watts. A lot of misrepresentation goes on about these radios that say that they put out 5 watts. They do not. They put out 4 watts. You can buy a tri-power model. It's not the 5R. It's a B8 something, and I think they make a B9 something model. It's a tri-power. Now with that, you can choose in between 4, 6, and 8 watts. This model, however, 4 watts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on radio, and I'm going to click on what is it here? Nope, it's here, import from stock configuration. Now what I'm going to choose, like I said, we're going to keep this nice, neat, and easy. And we're also going to keep this legal, because right now, without at least a technician's license, I can't transmit on ham frequency. So we're gonna go to safe mode here. We're gonna choose the FRS, which is Family Radio Service, and the GMRS channels. Okay, those we can use. Those we can transmit on. And you see it pops up the box, you know, making sure everything's correct there. We're just going to click OK. And it's going to import all those channels into there. Now, when we click the radio button, we get the option to upload to radio. And when I do that, I'll show you on the radio again. I bring that up. And I'm going to click on the radio on the other screen there. And I'm going to click upload to radio, and you'll see it start talking again to the radio. Oh, well, it wants me to verify the comm, the port, and all that, so I'm going to click OK. And tells me what I need to do. I click OK. And yes, I want to live life dangerously and use this driver. And you see now it's talking again to the radio. I'll bring back over the screen here. And now they call it cloning, but now it's sending that information to the radio. And it's done. So now, let me bring back this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the radio off. I'm going to pull the programming cable out of it, put the dust cover back in place. Now I'm going to turn it on.
Frequency mode.
Now it's on frequency mode, not channel mode. What we just did was programmed a bunch of channels. So it's on frequency mode, which you would do each frequency separately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this orange button here that will change to channel mode.
Channel mode.
Okay. Now, if I go up and down the channels,
1,
there's channel 1,
2,
channel 2,
3,
channel 3,
4,
4, and it'll go all the way up. There's 22 FRS and GMRS channels. So that programmed 22 channels
0,
just that quick, just that easy. So that gives you the long and the short of how to get your FRS and your GMRS frequencies into one of these UV-5R Plus radios, or any of the version of UV-5R. Now, as far as use, Jen babysits approximately, I looked on Google Maps, and it's about 2 miles away from here if you were to draw a straight line. Earlier today, she had walked outside out front and tried to contact me with her radio. That did not work. I didn't hear her. She didn't hear me. So I really urge that if you go somewhere like Walmart and you see how they've got the radios, the family radios and stuff there, and there's ones that say 20 miles or 30 miles, that's a joke. They will not do that. I assure you. Because those don't even, for the most part, most of them don't even put out 4 watts. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Let me make sure that that was set, because I programmed straight from here. Yeah, it was on high too. Which there should only be one setting for that radio anyway. I've got some documents for you. Documents! Because you love documents. Now, this is a list I printed off the internet of the FRS, GMRS channels. And some of them kind of right on top of the others, okay? So, I just wanted to show you this because the reason why is technically, and I wanted to point this out, by the way, in FRS mode, you should not be putting out more than 500 milliwatts, okay? That's 1/2 of 1 watt. So, if you take a look, and you're not going to be able to see this real well, so deal with it. But you can go and, if I can get it straight, you can go and get a copy of that off the internet yourself if you'd like. But it just tells you like the channel, the frequency, the amount of wattage that's allowed. Once you go into GMRS mode, channel 1 through 7 in GMRS mode, you can produce 5 watts legally. And I don't get where these other channels come into effect at, but GMRS channel 1 through GMRS channel 8, you can put out 50 watts. So just keep that in mind. If you were to purchase one of these radios and somebody wanted to bust you for, say, speaking on FRS channel 1, which is a frequency of 462.5625, and they want to say, well, you're putting out 4 watts and the limit is 500 milliwatts, just say, well, no, I wasn't on FRS channel 1. I was on GMRS channel 9, in which I'm allowed 5 watts. Okay? So you have to be careful with this stuff. If you get one of these radios, please, if you don't have a ham license, stay off the ham frequencies. Okay? And we'll get more into that into the future. But for right now, stay off the ham frequencies. Stick with the FRS and GMRS frequencies because you do not need a license to operate on those channels. I do highly recommend getting one of these units. I understand that even at 2 miles away in a town that I was unable to make contact with Jen. However, any communication is good communication. These also, being that they are ham radios, they will allow you to run on the repeater networks. Okay? You have to understand how to set those up. That's a whole different ball of wax. But as long as the repeaters are up and functioning, a lot of times there's different clubs, different amateur radio clubs that are involved in statewide networks. I already know, I can hit a repeater from where I'm at from this radio and be able to hit the network for the state of Illinois. So therefore, as long as that repeater station is up and active, I could speak to the entire state with this radio. And I know I can reach that repeater because how I test anyway, from what I've found, once you get everything set up, if you just key up for a moment, just a second and let go, you'll hear the repeater either beep back to you or it will say something back to you. And it's a computer-generated automatic message. So it's not like somebody that sits there and waits for somebody to key up and then say, oh, you're here. No, it's not like that. It's all automatic, automated, nice little system. But I do recommend these radios. I'm going to be doing a lot of testing on them, and I'll be able to let you know more in the future on them. So that's pretty much what I have for this particular radio. I just wanted to show you guys, give you an idea about at least some simple programming with it, and go from there.